With the risk of being told I'm stating the obvious, I think we might need a striker in the January transfer window. Now, obviously, we needed one anyway before the game against Aston Villa last night. However, I feel like we had time on our side. There's still 3 weeks until the window closes, and as long as we brought in a striker before the deadline, we would have been okay. I think Fulkrug would have been more than enough to see us through for the next 3 weeks. We could have taken our time, got the right striker in on a good deal. However, that's changed now with the injury to Niklas Füllkrug and the performance of Danny Ings as well. The striker-o-meter has turned up from desire to desperation pretty quickly, and I think that time has disappeared. And that may change who we target in the January transfer window. Now, of course, there'll be an argument that we need 2 strikers because Danny Ings will now be the second striker, and we're assuming the injury to Füllkrug will be a big one. I'm not sure we'll get that. I think we will only bring in 1 striker because it is difficult to do business. It doesn't mean you can't do business. The players available are limited or come at a cost. So I think we'll get in 1 striker. But who's it going to be? Are we going to discuss it in today's video? Let's find out, because welcome to the West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. Now, over the last few days, we've been sussing out some of the old school Hammers Chat subscribers with a cup of tea, with a biscuit fund. Well, take a look at this. What is that about? That's not acceptable here in the Hammers Chat for the Transfer Rumour Show, is it? Let me get it out the light. It's yellow and white. It's vanilla. Unacceptable, if you ask me. Anyway, some people will get it, some people won't. However, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and also drop a like on the video as well by clicking thumbs up. Looking forward to this one. The 11th of January for the first Transfer Rumour Show. It's almost like we've changed managers or something. And we're going to kick it off with Marcus Rashford because it's quite unrealistic and it's the big name, to be honest with you. When you judge transfer rumours, you have to take everything into account. Is the player available? Are they even up for grabs? Do you need the player? Can you afford the player? Then you come to your own conclusion of, can you see it happening? How realistic is it? You take all those things into consideration. But ultimately, the first barrier is that player available? Well, yes. Marcus Rashford is available from Man United. He is going out on loan. Now, the latest reports from the Old Trafford side of things, it's a straight loan. They don't want an option to buy. They don't want an obligation to buy. They want to loan him out so that he will obviously perform well, increases the amount of clubs that want him, and drives the price up for the summer. Because obviously, if they were to put an option to buy in a Marcus Rashford loan deal, what price would it be right now? Don't hold me to this. Let's just say 25 million and be friends, shall we? 25 million. You loan Rashford 25 million. They're obviously hoping he's going to go somewhere, perform really well, and he'll be worth more in the summer. I get it from Man U's point of view because he is a very talented player and you won't be paying all his wages. He's on 300 grand a week at Man United. No club's paying that. So Man U are basically going to be giving you potentially a top player and paying his wages whilst you have him. Your job as the club loaning him is to give him the game time, get him back into form and increase the market value for Man U. Everyone's a winner. Would I have him at West Ham? 100%, absolutely. Do I think we will get him? No. He's obviously strongly linked to AC Milan at the minute. But there's only so many clubs that can afford him. Now, nobody's going to be paying that 300 grand a week. But there's only so many clubs could afford to pay him or give Man U 100 grand a week whilst having him on loan. We're in that bracket. I would imagine we are the top club or one of the top clubs when it comes to being able to take Rashford off their hands and offer a certain wage. So let's, for example, say Bournemouth tried to get him. What could they pay? 50, 60, 70 grand a week on to get him? We can blow that out of the water, really. So in terms of a financial package, I would imagine we are able to put together one of the most competitive ones Man United will receive. I'm just not convinced Man U would loan him to West Ham. We're in similar positions in the league. And I think Jesse Lingard was a little bit embarrassing for them. And it smacks of a little bit of Jesse Lingard, a player bang out of form, not really in the picture at Man U presently. We take him on loan. And we all know what happened with Jesse. He was one of the best players for the second half of the season. But I think because of that, Man U didn't capitalise on it. The whole point of a loan, you've got to have an aim. So for West Ham, we've loaned out Nath Figueira. Why have we done that? Because we want him to do well in Spain, want clubs to want him, want to drive his transfer market up. And we've done that. It's working. Freddie Potts, it's development. We want him to get minutes, and then in the summer we can bring him back or sell him to a championship club. with Man U and Jesse Lingard, he came in, he did his bit, we did our bit. It's just that Man U then never sold him, kept him around for a further season, didn't really play him, and he went on a free. So I think they got a little bit embarrassed with the Jesse Lingard thing, and I'm not sure they can afford to loan Marcus Rashford to West Ham in case he's a success, because success would mean that we possibly finish above them in the Premier League, and that would be highly embarrassing. So would I have Marcus Rashford at West Ham? Of course I would, absolutely. I think there's a really good player there for the club on loan. I wouldn't have him on a permanent transfer. Let me just flip it round. Because of his wage package. Now, obviously, he'd have to take a decrease in wages on the permanent transfer, but you'd still be looking at well over 100 grand a week. And then the fee you'd have to give Man United would be 20, 30, I don't know how much he would cost, 20, 30, 40 million, whatever. I don't think he's worth that. So on a loan, absolutely. And that's why I'm not bothered about the no option to buy, because I probably wouldn't want to pay it anyway. He would be coming in to do a job for a few months and help us out, get some goals, get us up the league a little bit, and then go back to Man U and they can decide what to do with him. So I'm all over a straight loan on this one, if it's feasible. I'm just not sure. The rumours are West Ham have asked Man United to be kept in the loop with what's going on. So obviously it's a case of, okay, we've accepted a loan deal from AC Milan. They're going to pay 50% of his wages. But okay, we can match that. Put our offer on the table as well. We're basically letting other clubs negotiate and do the hard work. And if we fancy it, we'll get involved as well. I can't see it happening. I would like to, but can't see it. Now, before we move on to the next one, this video is brought in collaboration with Stocks FC. So it's a new sponsorship on their channel. But Stocks FC allows you to earn real cash going by the performances of real players in the real world. Now, to get you started on Stocks FC, now over the next few weeks and months, myself and Gonzo are going to be showing you who we've invested in personally on Stocks FC and how we're getting on and how we're being rewarded for those player performances. But what Stocks FC are doing through Hammers Chat is that if you sign up using our link, which is in the description below and the pinned comments below, you will get 5 loan players for free for 1 month, and you will get paid out as well if there's dividends for those players. So you can get rewarded for goals, for assists, for key passes, all those metrics. It's well explained on their websites how you get paid out, but you will get 5 players on loan for a month, and any dividends in that month, they will pay you out in real cash. So it allows you to sign up, get familiar with their website, have a look around, see how you fancy it, because Stocks FC, it's up to you who you buy stocks in. You can go for the players that you think got potential and would go on to get better. You can buy stocks in the stars today that you know are almost guaranteed to give you returns. I've invested stocks in 3 players. I'll tell you about it in the next video. However, if you want to get involved, links in the description below in the pinned comments. Get your 5 players on loan for 1 month for free. If you were to sign up normally without Hammers Chat, you want to get 2 loan players. So links in the description, QR codes on the screen over here. Get involved. Now, the next rumour I want to discuss is Awoniyi. And if Awoniyi comes to West Ham, I'll be looking to get stocks in him because I think it would be a fantastic signing for us. I was a fan of Awoniyi before he came to Nottingham Forest. I was determined he was going to be a success. It was one of those, I wouldn't have minded him at West Ham. And when he first rocked up at Forest, he was really good. And then injuries have played their part, which has really deterred his position in the squad. He was the striker. He's now playing back up to Chris Wood. Now, that sounds a little bit poor. Well, why is he not getting a game? Because Chris Wood, this season, has been the most informed striker. You know, the last month, Alexander Isak. But from August until now, Chris Wood has arguably been the best striker in the Premier League. That's who's keeping Awoniyi out the team. There's absolutely no shame in that. Awoniyi isn't getting minutes because he's a bad player. Awoniyi isn't getting minutes because Chris Wood is in just ridiculous form at the minute. That's why he's sat on the bench at Nottingham Forest. When we were linked to him, we had Fulkrug, and I thought, would he put Fulkrug out the team? Not sure. So essentially, he'd be swapping the Forest bench for the West Ham bench. That's changed. That has changed completely. He would come straight into our starting 11. He's a homegrown player, which if he's going to be on loan, it helps, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. When we're loaning players in, we don't have to worry too much about their homegrown status because we're okay. As a squad, we've got enough spaces. We don't need to worry too much. If it's one of those that it's we could potentially sign him in the future, then yes, it's beneficial. This is one deal, though, I would like an option to buy. It's because it's a completely separate one from Marcus Rashford. His fee wouldn't be that high. His wages aren't that high. Homegrown player, good age. Yes, he could possibly be going away to African nations. I don't know if he represents his country enough. Should have Googled it. My mistake. But he's homegrown because he came through Liverpool's academy before going to the Bundesliga. But I rate him highly. I think he's reasonably quick, very strong, can play the role that we've seen at West Ham previously under Lopetegui and David Moyes. Obviously, Graham Potter will play a different way. However, in the whole 15 minutes, I thought Füllkrug looked good up front under Graham Potter. But going back to Potter's teams with Brighton, Ferguson, Neil Maupay, Glenn Murray, these strikers that he used and worked under Graham Potter, Awoniyi would sort of fit that profile and that style. I would love to see him in the claret and blue. Would he fix the problem up front? I think he would. I think he'd get goals. It might only be 5, 6 goals. We've only got 18 league games left. That's it. Our season. Let me turn that light back on. We've only got 18 games left of the season. So if you can get 5 goals, that's 1 in 3. That's a really good return. So I'd be, for our loan player, I'd be very happy with that. So Awoniyi's a big tick. And out of all the strikers we've been linked to, I don't think he's the best striker, but I think he's the one that suits us best in terms of the deal that's likely to be available. So I'm hoping we do make a move. I've seen Nottingham Forest linked to strikers as well. And there should be. It's £25 million strikers they've been linked to at the minute because they're trying to capitalise on their current success, but also stay there. And I hope they do it. If Nottingham Forest can get in 1, 2 players, but even just one player that can have a similar impact to their signings, they're going to get Champions League football, and I'm rooting for them. But you look at their summer business, Elliot Anderson, I think Elliot Anderson has been the signing of the season in the Premier League this year. He's come in, smashed it from the start. Milenkovic has come in, smashed it from the start. Moreno's come in, done a bit of a job. Nottingham Forest have shown they can bring players in and put them into the starting 11 immediately, and it works. So they should be looking to bring in 1 or 2 players in January and stay in that champ. Be ambitious. I love it. Show your ambition. Stay where you are. But as a result of that, West Ham can hopefully take Awoniyi off your hands for a few months. But get that option to buy in there, please, West Ham. Moving on to Evan Ferguson, and this is the player that I think we may have to miss out on because originally when we were linked to him, I thought, I'm not sure he'll compete with Füllkrug. Does he want to do it? Maybe he does, maybe not. But I thought there was maybe other clubs he could go to that he'd be guaranteed minutes. And then the injuries happened at Bournemouth. Evan Nielsen, away for surgery, out for a couple of months. Unal out for the rest of the season. They've just had to recall their young striker. Jebison, I can't remember his name, apologies. But it doesn't matter. They've recalled their young striker because they've got no strikers. I think Bournemouth was the ideal destination for Evan Ferguson. You go in there and you play minutes. But obviously now the situation's changed for us with Füllkrug. So he could come in. If Ferguson comes tomorrow, he starts against Fulham as far as I'm concerned. He walks into that starting 11. But the problem is Brighton's, and this might stop him going to Bournemouth as well, Brighton's stance on Evan Ferguson is we will decide at the end of the January transfer window. We're waiting to see how Danny Welbeck's getting on with his injury first before we decide what to do with Evan Ferguson. We can't afford to wait. I think whilst Füllkrug was fit, you can go, okay, we'll wait until a week to go before the deadline, then we'll see where Brighton are at with Evan Ferguson, and hopefully we get him because that's the guy we want. We can't afford to do that now. I don't think you can afford to waste 2 weeks of transfer. We need a player in immediately. Not sure if Ferguson will be leaving Brighton in the meantime. Maybe he will. Maybe it just means that we've got to make the financial package to loan him a little bit more attractive. It might mean we've got to accept no option to buy because that adds a barrier in negotiations. You agree that player's available on loan, brilliant option to buy. Then you've got to haggle over a price. An obligation is even more difficult because then you've got to haggle over a contract with the player. So remove all the clauses, just have it as a straight loan. It's not ideal, but we're not in an ideal situation. We have an injured Fulkrug and a very rusty Danny Ings, and that's been kind. We need a striker. Jonathan David's someone been linked to for quite some time now, but his circumstances have changed drastically. Only 6 months left on his contract at Lille. We're being linked to him once again. 25 million is the price tag, which seems a bit steep, and also pretty sure that was the price tag last summer and the summer before that. He's always been 25. This guy's contract length does not determine. He's 25 million. He's got a day left. 25 million. Doesn't matter. 25 million. He's on a 5-year deal. 25 million. Pretty sure he's always been 25 million, but we're being linked to him again. I'm very much of the opinion, if you can get him for a handful of million, less than 10 million, sure. Anything more, and you do genuinely want him, I'd be saying, nope, park it, get the pre-contract sorted now. You can agree a deal with him now on a Bosman, so that he joins in the summer for free. Enter your personal talks now, speak to Jonathan David's advisors, get a contract agreed, and then you can go to Lille and practically threaten them and say, right here, look here in my vanilla notebook, contract with Jonathan David, he's ready to sign it, he's going to be coming on the Bosman in the summer, or on the stick-it notepad that I've got my players, on here is an offer for a handful of million, you accept that, and you get paid for him, and we have him today. I think that's how I would go about negotiating anyway, but what do I know? I'm a gobby Scotsman on the webcam. So Jonathan David, I still don't know enough about him despite being linked to him for every transfer window for the last 5 years. But I think it's because I've never expected him to join. 4.5 years later, he's still not joined. So I think I made the right call. Right, other strikers being linked to that I'm not going to discuss because I don't know who they are. Laborde, who's a 30-year-old striker at Nice, grabbed a few goals in the French top division this season as they sit 6th in the league. And we've got Wahi, is that his name? Wahi, W-A-H-I, plays for Marseille. Again, someone else we've been linked to. I don't watch French football. Some people get offended when I say it. Some people think, well, you should. It's your job. I don't have time. I don't know French football. I'm sorry. But that's 2 strikers we've been linked to. As always, the strikers that we spoke about in today's video, all the links to their transfer market profiles are in the description below. So if I've butchered any names and you haven't a Scooby who I'm on about, it's easy to find and you can go and do a little research for yourself over on Transfer Market if you wish. But thank you very much for joining me. That's the players we've been linked to. So just to summarise, Rashford, would love, don't believe it. Awoniyi, kind of believe it, would love. Ferguson, would like, believe it, but I think the timing is a problem. Jonathan David, I don't believe it in the slightest. As for the other 2, Laborde, Wahi, not for me. I want to get somebody in that's suited to the Premier League. And I know that isn't fancy or anything, but we need a striker that can come in now, or someone that we believe is a long-term acquisition for West Ham. I don't know who Laborde is, but I know I don't want him. And I'll tell you why. He's 30 years old. I've had enough of it. Don't be signing a 30-year-old on a permanent transfer. Getting a young player on a permanent transfer or loan someone Premier League experience. So either they make an impact this season or we get them in now, get them into the team, and they make an impact next season. One of the two. Tell you what I don't want. A 30-year-old that's going to make an impact for 6 games and then he's going to sit on the bench for the next 2 seasons because he's too old and too slow for the Premier League. I've had enough of it. Get this right, please. Also, remember, Stocks FC QR code is here. If you're thinking, what you're on about, I'm still not quite sure. I completely understand. Go to the website, links in the description below. Read about it as much as you can. And then you can get signed up and you will get 5 players on loan for 1 month for free. But if they perform in real life and dividends are paid out, you will get paid out as well. But over the next few weeks, myself and Gonzo will be showing you the players that we are buying stocks in as well. But anyway, I'm off ski. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. Sky News Hammers Chat. And if there's any striker you want to see at West Ham this window, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you soon.